You're listening to the Super League Pod, coming up on episode 145 of your favourite Rugby League podcast. We have all your feedback and shout-outs, news from around the world of Rugby League. We look back at round 17 of Super League. We talk a bit of Origin and French Grand Final Rugby League as well, before we look ahead to round 18 of Super League. And spoiler alert, I do alright in the quiz. Strap yourselves in, kids. It's time for your favourite Rugby League podcast, the Super League Pod. Okay, everyone, welcome along to episode 145 of the Super League Pod. Tom and Mark here, as always, in SLP Towers, ready to run the rule over everything that's been going on this week in Rugby League. Mark, how's things?
All right, Thomas.
Good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
Well, I'm rather sunburnt, but other than that,
I would say the top.
Do you know what? It's only
sixth of your head is sunburnt.
It's only
everything
on the
below
front,
kind of
yeah.
the midpoint of your forehead is just looking tan.
Well, my arms are pretty sunburnt too.
Oh, are they?
We're yeah.
Fair enough.
Saturday.
What did you do? Like make the mistake of looking out of a window this weekend?
Yeah, I came out from the shadows for half an hour, and this was the result. Saturday, spent the afternoon, evening with some of my old school chums, and we went to Lancaster on the train and had a few beers and sat outside a few canal adjacent pubs and got the sun.
Fantastic.
And then it was at about 8:30 at night when we were sat in the sun, and now gone behind some of the buildings, and one of the guys pulls out some sun cream from his pocket.
Perfect timing.
I had this all the time. I was like, fuck you, Dave.
So actually, we're 2 days in, and that's still bright red then. So
Yeah.
were you worse yesterday?
I'm worse every time I do anything that might exert myself.
Right.
So then it just flares up.
Oh no.
So any sort of temperature, like if I do a flight of stairs, any temperature underneath that comes up. You know, I sort of ran in from the rain sort of thing, and heated me up.
I'm not sure we're in for a Mark rant tonight, but if we do get one...
Well, the people are clamouring for it, Tom.
I don't know where they're going to get it from, though. Anyway, if you do get in one, I'll keep an eye on your overall colour.
To spurring a true Mark rant at the moment is the clamour for a Mark rant.
There you go. Look at that. Let's keep it going. Well,
how about you? What have you been up to?
I had a fantastic week. Actually, I was up in your neck of in the same part of the world as you over the weekend. Emma and I had the use of a caravan up at Ingleton over the weekend. So we've been up in the southern part of the Lake District, did a bit of walking.
Yorkshire Dales, Ingleton, Tom.
Yorkshire Dales. Well, see, there you go. I'm not the qualified walker that you are, but we ended up over in Lakes, which is sort of half an hour's drive away. So Kirby Lonsdale. What do we count that as? That's Lakes, isn't it?
Kirby Lonsdale would be the Howgills, which
was it?
There's a dividing line between what would fall under the running of the Yorkshire Dales and what would fall under the running of the Lake District National Park.
Oh, well, it turns out I didn't spend any time in the Lake District this
week.
Well,
you might have done it. I don't know where it actually falls.
Oh, right, fair enough. Well, we had the use of the caravan, so we were up in the Dales.
That is about half an hour away from...
Yeah. So we were up in the Dales, we were up in Kirby Lonsdale. It was lovely, very relaxing, very peaceful. I had a lovely meal at an Italian place in Kirby Lonsdale and enjoyed all the nice clement weather. It was very pleasant indeed, very relaxing, playing quite sort of... 1940s. The television never came on, so we were playing board games and card games and doing quizzes and stuff. It was very genteel and relaxing. So we came back on. When did we come back? Sunday morning, all chilled out and ready for the work week. So that's been the highlight, really. It was lovely.
So basically, we're going to have
Friday and Saturday.
We're going to have no rugby league knowledge to talk about.
Oh, I feel like I'm actually better prepared than I have been for a few weeks. I saw all the coverage of this weekend's game, and I've caught a few of the tries as well. So we're in good nick, and we're certainly. No one can accuse us of not being particularly well informed, even if we don't fact check here at the Super League Pod.
Well, they could, because we're not.
Well,
but we're here to bring the fans' views.
To be honest with you, I'm more excited about the quiz this week. I don't even know what it is. I'm just looking forward to
well, we teased last week on what our topic might be. That was coming up, and it's Super League players older than Thomas Crook.
There you go. Good lord. Yeah. So Andy Lynch and I don't know. That's about it now, isn't it?
Well, we'll get to it.
We'll get to them. Is it older than Tom Crook or older than Mark Illingworth?
No, there was 20... it turned out that there was... I think it was... Was it 27 or... Far too many for us to do as a quiz.
Right.
Older than me that have played this year in Super League.
All right. Well, I'm going to start jotting some names down as we go through the show.
Well, all right, if you want.
I'm allowed to.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Yeah. Shall we stop bickering and talk about who's been getting in touch with us this week?
Yeah, we start with David Powell at St. David 2911. He said, "Now then, lads.
Good man.
No disagreement on the Barber ban. Can't blame Saints for trying to get him on the field, though. True. NRL opened the door by making it specific to the NRL. Great signing for us."
I haven't seen any more news about this one or if there's been a decision made. We obviously didn't play at the weekend, so it leads me to believe that the RFL will uphold his ban. And I totally get David's point. He's a Saints fan saying, can't blame him for trying. But I don't think many people would disagree with the ban.
Yeah.
Really? So,
well,
point.
Other than bans have been more serious before for the same offence, that have been handed out within our competition. Yeah. So that's a way to disagree with it.
I suppose you can't retrospectively then ban him in a
no, of course. It wouldn't seem right, but then letting him play would equally not seem right. So we'll see if it just goes on how it's gone on, and that I guess would make everyone satisfied.
Yeah. Sparesy G.
Yeah, Gavin Spares at Sparesy G. He said, "Great episode, lads, and thanks for the shout out and also making the All Goals League One Game of the Week. #follow the Fern." Yeah, we're going to have to stop making the All Goals Game of the Week because every time we do, they lose.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Every time we do, they lose.
Yeah, they're one of our pet teams, aren't they, the All Goals? And we don't want to be seen to be bringing them.
I'm a proud owner of a.
I'm yet to see you. I've yet to see you in this, though. I would have thought you had it on last week, if not this.
Well,
it's just not been.
I've tried it on. It fits. I've worn it.
There you go. All right. Yeah. I'm not saying you're inventing it. I never saw it on the day, though.
No, because you got there late, Tom.
I think I got there 10 minutes late.
Yeah, late. Cutthroat Jake at cut_throat_Jake said, Ward and Clark throw punches, both sin bin, but Leeds win the penalty and Ward has an EGP, so why do they get the same ban? Angry devil face.
Well, I think there's some technicalities at play here, isn't there?
Well, first of all, if the RFL disciplinary panel had have been handling the match, they maybe would have said that Stevie Ward was the aggressor, because the right up to Darryl Clark's judiciary hearing was that he wasn't the aggressor in the incident. And that was actually my opinion at the time, but that wasn't the way the on-field official saw it. But basically they both committed the same offence. One of them had the ability to have an EGP on the same graded offence, which means an automatic 1 game less than the maximum ban, and no fine, no appearance at Red Hall. Whereas not having the opportunity of EGP, and Darryl Clark didn't have the opportunity of an EGP because he'd already used that on a very much unrelated offence. I can't recall him ever being involved in fighting before.
No, he's not a biff, is he?
So that's why he didn't have the opportunity to use that, but they felt that he wasn't the aggressor. He's played lots of games in the middle of the field, does not have a record for fighting, so whilst there's been other dangerous contact type issues, this is very much out of character, and a 1 match ban and a £300 fine was seen as sufficient, which I'm happy with.
Yeah, I think that explains it fairly adequately, really, doesn't it?
And they thought he wasn't the aggressor. Let's make that point. Stevie Ward was deemed to be the aggressor by the match review panel after fully reviewing the incident.
There you go.
So, Leeds might have won the penalty, but maybe they shouldn't have done.
There you go. Okay, Mitchell Darts.
Yeah, here's one for you, Tom. He said, Tom singing When I Was 17, made my lunch break. Great ep, lads. 8 out of 8 in the trivia this week. I'm back like New South Wales.
Slashing it like New South Wales, yeah, absolutely. I think Mitchell is quite the Simpsons fan on the quiet, so I may well have scored some brownie points with him there. Yeah,
I think he's probably going to be Googling the oldest players in Super League right now as well, whilst he's listening to this to try and justify what he's going to tell us is full marks on the quiz.
Right, he could tell us anything, couldn't he, really? I want to see some evidence. Yeah. There needs to be an investigation. Who's next?
Sarah Mackenzie said, it's much harder to find the time to listen during the school holidays, but still highly recommended.
Well, always appreciated, Skin. Yeah. Did you see...
Scoops 28 Mac, that would be.
Yes. Did you see the lovely picture of Barry McDermott and Josh, two worlds collide on the Super League Pod Twitter feed this week?
Super League Pod's worst winner and Super League Pod's most famous...
One of our most famous listeners, if not...
And Barry McDermott met him.
Yeah, there you go.
It's remarkable.
It's superb, isn't it? Congratulations to that young man.
No, that was
meeting
great.
Josh.
It was great, and obviously it's nice for all the fans to get together. We always like it when fans run into other fans, and that's one of our favourite things.
Yeah.
And here it was happening again.
Bonding over their mutual love of hastily cobbled together podcasts. Bravo to both men. Who's next?
Rich Wilkinson got in touch. He said, "Now then, Mark, mate, due to work commitments and Origin itself, I've only just had the privilege of listening to your Origin prediction. Dog shit." This was like the day after Origin. I said, "You're not the oracle, but I was on the New South Wales win, and I didn't think it would turn out like that." Yeah, a bit more spoilerage going on there, but well, I'll tell you what it was. I'd completely fallen out of love with Origin. I had Origin fatigue. I can't remember the last time I saw a genuine, maybe
2 or 3 years ago. I'm trying to
5 or 6 games at least had passed. So 2 full series, maybe even since I last felt enthralled by an Origin game. It felt like so I just wasn't ready to believe there was going to be something enthralling. But the first half of this year's first Origin game was one of the most exhilarating 40 minutes of rugby league football you're ever likely to see. So it's, I'm happy with it.
It's back. Origin is back, baby.
Yeah, he said, "Great quiz. I got most, didn't get Mason, and said Alex Glenn instead of Ben Teo. I have always got those two mixed up."
Well, there you go.
That's weird, because only one of them's ever played for England Rugby Union.
I don't know. I don't know who Alex Glenn is.
Broncos.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, he did. I know who you are. I didn't know him. Fucking Will. Do you know what? I'm still kicking myself about the Willie Mason fiasco.
Especially as it's one of your favourite jokes to make about the man with so many passports. And then I gave it to you on a plate and you just couldn't.
I was shattered. I was absolutely shattered coming into the show last week. It just wasn't happening for me. Hopefully, we'll do a bit better this week.
Fair enough. We might have a shorter show anyway. We've got lots to talk about, I think.
That's true. We could be on for a nice, easy early dart here, right?
David Pye sent us a message on Facebook, like Rich Wilkinson did. He said, "Loved the podcast this week. Just sorry I wasn't able to watch the games and meet up again at the Summer Bash. Shame there weren't more there. It's a great occasion and concept. I support the RFL decision to put this on, and why won't more go? A point I wish to share, loosely related to the barber ban, which seems to be creating some different points of view. The ban is based on games, not time. I agree with this for short bans of, say, 1 to 4 games, but when it increases, it can be more difficult to manage, particularly if the players then swap clubs, sports, or is dropped. If longer ban if longer bans were all time related, then it would make it easier to police. If a player was banned for 8 weeks instead of 8 games, then the player could return to RL in 8 weeks and a day, meaning what went on in the background wouldn't matter. The only caveat I would consider is time doesn't elapse during the off-season and agreed period between October and February. It would need some consideration, but if all major leagues signed up to this, it could simplify what seems to be a confusing state of affairs. I would also think it would seek to punish the players, not the clubs, or the clubs who may look to recruit them while serving the ban. Everyone knows where they stand."
That makes a tremendous amount of sense, doesn't it? I believe union banning weeks rather than matches, don't they?
The weeks rather than matches thing, not so much of a... I think it's sensible. I get that. I don't see how it makes a difference in terms of... Look, basically, this to me is a closet Saints fan, because Dave, let's face it, is as much a Saints fan as he is a rugby league fan, no matter how much he tells us otherwise. We love him to pieces, but he's lying. No, but in all seriousness, no.
He's far too big, he can say what he likes.
And far too handsome as well, to be honest. But the problem I've got with it is...
You're an exclusive
why if it's 8 weeks or 8 games, how often during a season, which is what he's suggesting these weeks would cover, does it happen where 8 weeks isn't 8 games anyway? It's almost, apart from obviously the Easter period in most seasons, the Origin period in most NRL seasons, and then the extra weekend this year that we've had. So 8 weeks would be 8 games almost always in any case. But also, if you ban for 8 games or 8 weeks, if a club signs you halfway through, you're still going to miss half of that, so you still know where you stand. But I'd still think time's time suspensions rather than game suspensions are fine by me, as long as it's a consistent approach. Yeah,
absolutely. It's that uniformity that we want, really, isn't it? That would solve a lot of problems.
The thing is, what this would allow is what Ben Barber's tried to do, which is try get banned from one competition, go and play a totally different sport, and when you